The number one lesson from the art of war is to know your enemy. And it happened to be the determining factor, in my opinion, in this trade war between US and China, because US doesn't know China.
We'll be asking the questions, old man. Who are you?
You.
No, not me, you.
Yes, I am you.
What is the poorest country in the world?
China!
What's the poorest country in the world? Most of the Americans still think that is China. No kidding. You guys stuck in the lies for too long.
Okay, this is random, but I totally forgot about these eggs in my kitchen, and I think they're spoiled now. I hate wasting food, but what else can I do? I have to throw them out. RIP eggs, at least I'm in China, and this didn't cost me 30 USD.
So, I wish people would do more due diligence. And then my question is, have y'all been to space? Have you been to space? Go to space and then come back and say, this is a terrible thing.
For all you people that are like, China's going to show America, they're going to sell their products to the rest of the world. Don't you think they would already be doing that? Like, what fucking world are you living in? If the rest of the world wanted Chinese products, China would already be selling their products to them.
You're out here talking like China's a fucking Etsy shop that just can't find enough customers. If the rest of the world wanted their stuff, they'll already be buying it. What kind of baby brain logic is that? China's entire export model is built around supply chain that you rely on, not cheap shit. Everything. Electronics, raw material, critical components. Half of the stuff in your house was made in China, and the other half needed China to be made. But sure, let's pretend they're begging us to buy knockoff sunglasses. You act like America is doing China a favor by buying their exports. No, China manufactures because you outsourced it. You gutted your own factory for profit. Then you bragged about being the ultimate consumer. Like that's a flex. Bro, all that means is you don't produce. You just spend. You're the toddler of the global economy, screaming, messy, and holding an iPhone that you didn't even build. And the part where you say 80% of US exports to China are oil and gas. Congrats, you just admitted that they're essential. China needs that energy because they're actually producing something. You think they can't get it from anywhere else? Newsflash, they already are. Russia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and Canada. China has options. So no, a trade war isn't China loses. It's both sides bleeding. But only one of them has an actual industrial base to recover from. Spoiler alert, it's not United States. You want to chest dump about retail stats while your own country can't even make a basic semiconductor? Sit the fuck down. You're not an economist. You're just a glorified Walmart greeter with Wi-Fi.
My question is, have y'all been to space? Have you been to space?
Have I been to space? No. Have you spent a year donating your blood plasma twice a week to buy pet food because 25% of your $12 an hour job was being garnished for hospital bills? Have you ever done that? You should try it. It's quite an experience.
Donald Trump wants you to believe that he has all the cards and that China is going to do whatever Trump wants, but what Trump doesn't realize is that China makes the cards.
Companies will never bring manufacturing or jobs back to America. Why?
You expect me to believe that the same people that enslaved an entire population of people for 400 plus years are now ready to work?
Because it makes no sense, okay? If they bring those jobs back to America, they have to pay much higher wages. On top of that, they have to worry about getting sued all the time. They have to worry about insurance and all kinds of other liabilities. When companies outsource all their employees to another country, they don't have to worry about any of that. They can pay extremely low wages and demand the most work out of their employees. And additionally, they don't have to worry about getting sued. They don't have to worry about insurance or any kind of liabilities at all. So ask yourself, if you were a company that outsourced all your employees to another country and you were paying extremely low wages, didn't have to worry about insurance or getting sued or any liabilities, would anything incentivize you to bring that back to America? Absolutely not. So yeah, they would much rather pay the tariffs because just from a liability standpoint, it still makes sense.
So y'all pushed out immigrant labor
And now y'all surprised nobody wants to pick blueberries for $11 an hour, 9 to 10 hours a day, 7 days a week? Really? So let's get this straight. They're offering $11 an hour to work 9 to 10 hour days, 7 days a week, no days off, no benefits, and no protections. So immigrants weren't stealing American jobs. They were doing the jobs that most Americans can't or won't do. So now we got a labor shortage, and the same people who were whining about illegal immigration are now whining about food still is so expensive. Well, that's going to happen when you have a labor shortage. This is what happens when policy is led by fear instead of facts. Would you work 70 hours a week for $11 an hour to pick blueberries in a field? Let's talk about it and tag somebody who thinks that immigrant labor is a problem. We all want to talk about it.
So check this out. U.S. wants more manufacturing jobs, meaning MAGA. Let's make America great again with manufacturing. But who's willing to work them?
If U.S. want to bring back manufacturing, the first thing to do is to build factories. And it takes years to build factories, and then you produce something. And for that particular something, you can hire the tariff of whatever country come from, maybe China. And then that's how you protect your manufacturing industry. You have something to protect. Step 1, step 2. Now you're doing step 2 without step 1. So you hired the tariff of that something you cannot produce, which just means you are buying something more expensive. 2, I don't know for what. You are putting the cart before the horse. Is that the expression?
We don't have state income tax in China. We don't have capital gain tax in China. We don't have an estate tax or inheritance tax in China. We don't have sales tax. If you buy grocery store, if you buy food, we don't have this sales tax. And we also don't have property tax for each year. And we don't have state corporate tax either. And we don't have luxury tax like expensive jewelry and watches. We don't have to pay tax. And what is the important thing, we don't have hotel tax like room tax. If we go to a hotel, why have tax?
Some amazing late breaking news out of the White House this afternoon as Donald Trump has confirmed the tariffs are working, bringing in an astounding $210 trillion in revenue. We've wiped out our national debt, he said, and now we plan to buy Canada.
Stop importing and produce everything within their own country is not the best idea to grow your economy. I'm re-uploading this video because I was replying to a comment in my previous video. The commenter asked me to take them out of the post, so I'm re-uploading this. So when it comes to manufacturing, you not only need the manpower to put things together, you also need all the natural resources, the raw materials, to actually produce products. US have been manufacturing stuff within the US, but they decided to outsource a lot of the manufacturing to other countries because financially and economically it makes sense for them. It made things more efficient and it made things cheaper. If an iPhone is 100% made in US, including all the raw materials, one iPhone will cost more than $30,000 US. Also, not a lot of people want to work in manufacturing. You can argue that if you pay them more people would want to work in manufacturing, but that would make the products even more expensive. It will literally price all the US-made products out of the market because no one will buy it. They would rather pay 100% tariffs on Chinese-made products rather than buying things from the US because it's just financially not making sense. Not to mention it takes decades of planning to actually create manufacturing facilities. On top of that, if you want to create a manufacturing facility within the US without any imported products, it's gonna be impossible. So it's not gonna be short-term pain for long-term gain. You might not survive the pain.
So I see a lot of videos with Americans shocked, confused about the massive amounts of outrage that the world collectively has against America in this day and age. And they're saying we're jealous. We're jealous. And yes, the truth. The truth is there was a time where a lot of countries in the world were very jealous of America. I mean, after all, you guys are the biggest and the best, and you have all the best companies, and you make all the great movies. But you see, that's the problem. It's a house of cards. It's the wizard behind the curtain in The Wizard of Oz. It's all movies. It's all propaganda. It was all media. It's not real. It's not real. It was all fabricated. You guys have been fed the lie that America is the best and the biggest and the greatest, the shining light of the world, the hero that will save the world from the bullies, only to wake up one day to the realization that you guys have become the bullies. You've become the monster. You've become the arrogant prick. And here's the thing, it's just like fame, right? If you want to be famous, you run the risk of being infamous. It's a double-edged sword. And because you guys have always been at the forefront of anything and everything that happens culturally in the world, it should come as no surprise that when you make a mistake, when you screw up, the world is going to judge you harsher than they would anyone else. Because after all, you've portrayed yourself as the hero of mankind. That you guys are the good guys. Well, you got to ask yourself a question. Are you still the good guys? Many countries in the world don't know the answer to that. And it's not just, oh, the Republicans are bad. It's every subculture in America seems to be pissing off every other culture in the world. Now with the New Orleans parade and the Zulus. Previous to that, it was your guys' issue with the coloreds calling themselves coloreds in Tyler. If it's not Donald Trump or J.D. Vance trying to do stupid things like annex Greenland and say that Canada should be the 51st state, it was the Biden administration or the Barack administration constantly going to war, or the floppy nature of your diplomacy and your politics. It's not just one singular thing. It's a variety of things. But I think where it boils down to is it boils down to a inaccuracy of seeing who you guys are for yourselves. You don't have good introspection. You think that the Hollywood portrayal of what it means to be America is still real in the minds of others and in your own minds. But you need to address that, because that is simply not the case. And it happened very, very quickly. That change happened very quickly. So do some soul searching. Spend some time internally thinking about what it is that you guys are doing wrong. Don't blame the left or the right, or whites or blacks or Hispanics. Look at yourselves as a country, as a whole, as one family unit, and see where you can do better. And you got to ask yourself, if the whole world is saying the same thing, maybe there's a kernel of truth.
There are three things that America excels at: weaponry, pillaging, and marketing. See, if you grew up in America, then you were like me and you were told that America was exceptional. There is no greater place to live. We get these freedoms. We have a constitution that protects us, and democracy is important. And that is why this great American experiment is an opportunity for you to live in the greatest country on earth. And China is exposing the lies. If you are Black American and you have ever traveled outside of these United States, then you understand it's not just America that's propagandized. It's Black Americans too. It is in the way they ask, oh, what do you do and how do you do it? And they let you do that there? As if my intelligence or knowledge or ability to learn is not enough. Because, see, they've learned about us long before we entered their lands. And China is exposing everything that we thought we knew. All of the greatness that was in all of the other places except for them was a lie. And we bought it. Hook, line, and sinker. See, we thought that if our bags and belts came from Italy, then they were of good quality, never acknowledging the leather that comes from Africa, never acknowledging the workers who ensure that the leather that they use is available for purchase after being processed by Chinese hands. They bought it. That's what we're good at. America keeps telling lies, and Americans keep buying it. Because, see, we think that we're the best of the best, that we're the only westernized world where healthcare is not a guaranteed right, food is not a guaranteed right. You know the UN tried to pass that? Yeah, the US said no. Food is not a guaranteed right, and we know that. We can see that based on what this administration is doing, the fact that they are literally trying to starve out the undesirables. And those who they can't get rid of through starvation, the tariffs are going to finish it. Because most of our medications come from other countries, and a 20, 30, 40% tariff on top of medication prices that were already crippling to so many. Added to that is the gutting of Social Security Administration that provides over 70 million Americans with a way to keep a roof over their head and food in their bellies, but get their prescription medicine that will keep them alive. It's not the destruction that's devastating. It's the intentionality. The plan is working. It's working exactly like it was designed to work. Everything we see now has already been written. Now, they did not expect China to enter the chat. Because, see, now we see they have healthcare. They don't have to pay property taxes every single year. They're so confused. What happens if you lose your job? You would lose your house? Like, where would you live? Oh, wow, you paid that. It only costs 20 cents to make here. That's what we sell at wholesale. And you're paying $35? See, here's the thing. China knew that they were being used for labor. They knew that what they were providing could have been paid more, but China wasn't new to this. They understood the importance of dynasties, kingdoms. They understood the importance of the long-term plan. Because, see, long-term, the plan has always been for China to dominate. They're doing it. They are dominating in every way possible. And their people are prospering. Not because of government handouts or subsidies, but because they're willing to work. And their country is willing to reward that work, not keep it all for themselves. See, that's the difference between communism and capitalism, just in case you're wondering. Communism works for the benefit of the community as a whole. Capitalism works for the benefit of the very top, irrespective of everybody else. So when I say the system is not working, is not broken, it's working exactly like it was supposed to, that's what I mean. The destruction is not the issue. It's the intentionality behind the destruction. Because, see, what the Heritage Foundation wants is they want the majority. And back in the 80s, they realized they would lose the majority by 2030, 2040. And so they started a campaign. They knew they had to increase the birth rate. They knew that they had to do something to hang on to the majority, because the majority for them means superiority. And when you've created a caste system by which you have required other people to denounce their own heritage, because before you were Greek or Italian or French, but now you are just white. You are just white here in America, regardless of your heritage. They required it for assimilation in this caste system. And to ensure that the caste system still works, they need more white babies. That's why women cannot control their own bodies. Not because of people who look like me, because they know. The numbers show that white women get the majority of elective abortions. That's what the SAVE Act is about. They're not concerned about black people voting. Black people are less than 15% of the population. We don't have the numbers. But they are concerned, not about that 52%, but about the 48%. They're concerned about them. But see, they dug a little deeper because they realized that the 48%, the majority of them, they voted differently than their spouses. And now we have the SAVE Act. It's not to keep women who look like me from voting. Once again, just like DEI and affirmative action, the SAVE Act is an attack on white, married women. Because America is only good at three things: weaponry, pillaging, and propaganda. They make you believe we're great, and then make you watch as everything you ever thought you could hold on to dissipates in your hands. We're really good at propaganda. We've been selling it for a long time. Maybe we should stop buying it.
Hey, if US have so much democracy and freedom, how come you can't talk politics at work? And you can't tell people who you voted for, or you shouldn't talk about it.
Okay, on my video about China buying oil from Canada, this person says, good luck buying oil from Canada. Who's going to refine it? Yeah, they actually said that. Yeah. And they continued this sort of narrative in the comment sections. Not till after they build and learn how to go look at how hard and how long it takes. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it right now. China would have done it like everything else. So basically, this person thinks that China can't refine any Canadian oil, even though China's the top refiner in the world. Yeah, it's crazy. But where does this mindset come from that people just automatically assume that China couldn't possibly refine Canadian oil, because it's so complex? It is so complex. Well, that comes from all of the BS and misinformation they were told about America refining Canadian oil. What were they told? They were told that Canada can't even refine their own oil because it's too hard. They have to send it to the United States because they can't do it because it's too hard. Only the United States can do that. That's what we've been told. And I've been telling you guys that's a bunch of BS, but people believe whatever they believe. I don't know why people believe what they believe. The idea that someone would think that China can't do something as simple as refining oil just blows my mind. It's like, it is not that complicated. I mean, heck, that one dude made diesel out of plastic in his garage, and everyone thinks he's an Einstein because they don't understand we already do that every day, and we can do that in refineries. But still, he made diesel in his garage out of plastic. And you think China can't refine Canadian oil? Do you literally think tankers of oil showed up to China and the Chinese were like, oh, we don't know we don't know what to do with this. We didn't think about that. We didn't think about refining it. What are we going to do with all this oil? And the thing is, the statement has nothing to do with China and nothing to do with Canada and everything to do with how star-spangled awesome this person thinks the United States is. That's what this comment's about. The United States is so great, nobody else could possibly do some of the things that we do. That's what this comment's about. Yeah, multi-billion-dollar companies making multi-billion-dollar decisions, and an American thinks that it didn't occur to them that they would need to refine it. Yes, that basically is how you boil this down into a nutshell. Thanks.
Do you want to know why manufacturing doesn't matter what country it's from, but it's actually how it's made? I'll give you an example. This is your typical Gucci belt. I got this belt for my wife for her birthday a couple years ago. I think $400 after tax. She loves it. She wears it quite a lot. But you can see how much damage has gone through, right? The quality is okay, I guess, but it definitely didn't last long. I think this lasted 4.5 years. But it's authentic. Got it from the Gucci store. Quite nice. Made in Italy, your stereotypical Gucci belt. Now this is my belt. I got this also in Italy. It's a beautiful belt, very simple. Let me show you where it says made in Italy. Right here, genuine leather, made in Italy. The buckle also says made in Italy. It's hard to see, but you get my idea. Anyways, I wear this belt, oh gosh, almost on a daily basis for about 10-15 years now. You can see some wear and tear, but really durable, you know. I got this for $10. Yeah, $10 from an Italian lady, a little shop right behind the steps, the Spanish steps. Now my son is holding my Hermes belt. This is a special treat for myself when I went to Paris. Right on the street, about €1,000, I think. Got a special hook on it so I can do some chains. It's a nice one. I really, don't wear it often. I like to wear it more. It's very fancy. I like it because I'm paying for that logo, baby. This is luxury goods. I'm paying for that look. But I'm just telling you, belts or where things are manufactured, as it has very little to do with quality and reliability.
This one for you, number 5, and which one, baby?
China, this is incredible. I am watching this the way that I watched the downfall of Diddy and the Hollywood elite. It is just such a long time coming. Okay, because I've traveled Southeast Asia, I've been to Vietnam, I have bought North Face jackets, hiking boots, pennies on the dollar. I have a whole closet full of it. So I've always known that this is a sham. But the way the Chinese are just completely unveiling the absolute robbery the entire world has experienced from these luxury brands, the age of Aquarius is Aquariusing, baby.
So I guess China trying to make America great again. Because my whole TikTok is just filled with Chinese warehouses selling the cheapest things possible. And guess what? I'm about to start buying. I just seen a video of a warehouse in China selling toilet tissue for 20 cents. 20 cents for the 4-roll. Looked like it was good toilet tissue too. And they had another one selling Tide Pods. The whole thing of Tide Pods for like $2 or $3. Now, I haven't checked the legitness yet, but I'm about to get on it. Because some of the stuff I was going to buy anyways. If I can get toilet tissue, all my toiletries and everything from China for cheaper, hella cheaper, I'm going to do it every time.
I'm not surprised that Americans just discovering that their favorite products are made in China. I'm not surprised because what do Americans know that is outside America? Americans, they only know what happens within their state and maybe the larger America. What goes on around the world, they have no clue. And now they are surprised and shocked and saying, oh, China stood on business. Thank you for exposing them. Africa got the memo 25 years ago that everything comes from China. As for Africans, we believe everything comes from China. You can even make people in China if you want. For Africans, China is the gods. So Americans, now you're shocked to find out that actually China is a mega trend and America isn't that great as they have told you guys. Welcome to the real world where China, let's just say China.
MAGA people, you don't have freedom. Your master keep you undereducated, feeds you with propaganda and lies, using financial and political system as a leash around your neck, ask you to fight with China. Now the whole world hates you, and you are like, I have freedom. No, you have a leash.
Trump will be remembered as the president who made China great again.
Buy American last. I've seen some people talk about it, and I'm not surprised if this becomes an organic movement. I am Malaysian, and Bill O'Reilly's comment yesterday about how Malays don't have any money, in fact how Southeast Asia doesn't have any money, and therefore we're not valuable as diplomatic and economic partners. Kind of rich coming from a country where people can't afford to buy eggs, but okay. But the important thing is, if you couple that with what DJ Vance said about Chinese being peasants, or what Trump said about people who tried to contact him to negotiate these trade tariffs, as people who are trying to lick his that kind of shows you already the level of respect and how these people view the rest of the world, and we take notice. And that is super ironic because you're whining about the trade deficits, you're throwing a fit over it, and you're asking people to buy more American goods, but this is how you behave. The Chinese don't want to buy your Boeing, and now the Malaysian people are saying, I don't want to get an iPhone for my next upgrade. I want to get something that's more local. I want to find something that's not American. The thing is quite simple. When you pick a fight with the entire world at the same time, what the heck do you expect?
It's because it's just really awesome to see other countries standing up to the US. It's great to see. The world is sick of the US bullying everyone, and they're standing up to them. And I'm here for it.
This trade war ain't just America versus China. It's everybody versus everybody. And we're the ones paying for it. If you thought this trade war was just America and China beefing, nah, this is a global trade war, baby. But this is the tea, though. It's not just about TikTok bans or cheap cell phone chargers. This trade war is like triggering a global supply chain meltdown. Prices go up. Jobs shift overseas or disappear, and small businesses, they're just stuck trying to survive, essentially, because small businesses get stuck in the middle of this just like us. Meanwhile, countries are just picking sides like it's the world's most expensive kickball game. And guess who's stuck in the middle? You, me, everybody out here that's trying to buy eggs and gas without having to sell a kidney. Do you think this trade war is making us stronger? Or are we just like burning bridges and budgets for political theater? Let's talk about it.
To the Chinese Americans and the Chinese that are on this platform, I want you to know that not every American agrees with what the Vice President had said about you and your people. No, you guys are not peasants. Not everyone is a peasant. The only peasant I see right now is this idiot of a vice president. He's the only true peasant. I want you to know that not everyone in America thinks the way he does. Unfortunately, there are many that are uneducated that will believe what he says because they are so close-minded, and this is definitely not the way every American does business. Please accept my sincerest apologies to what he has called you, because that is offensive to me as well. I hope you guys understand this, and I hope this reaches far and wide. Thank you.